Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new little course that I'm working on. This is the introduction to CSS, aka styling the web. So before we get started, please like and subscribe and comment down below. It really helps me a lot, but without further ado, let's get started. So what is CSS? CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. The purpose of CSS is to basically just customize the appearance of web pages. So HTML provides the little foundation and CSS makes it really pop and makes it have color and style and look just so much better. And it works by being inline, internal, or external. That means CSS can be implemented into a HTML document by inline, which is in the same line as the HTML code, or internal, as in the same little paragraph or little division of HTML code, or external, as in you just code it in a whole other file and link it to the HTML document. I think it's really important that before I move on, I emphasize that you really should know HTML before you dive into CSS. It just really helps a lot, and you probably won't understand anything if you try to learn CSS without knowing HTML first. Sorry. So what's the difference between HTML, CSS, and JavaScript? HTML creates the structure, CSS creates the little style and color and just how the web page looks, and JavaScript just adds interactivity, functionality, just makes it easier to add functions and just functions and animations to the whole web page. So when these three come together, it really helps make a website really pop, and it makes it look much better than other websites, as in if you only use HTML only or CSS and HTML only instead of without JavaScript. But JavaScript is a whole other course. We're not going to get into that right now. The main focus is CSS. So why use CSS? Using CSS helps with consistency, flexibility, and efficiency. And you can read more about that in this slide, but we'll get deeper into that later. So syntax of CSS, there are selectors in CSS, which specifies the HTML element to style. So basically an HTML document has elements, and selectors are used to specify which one of those elements in the HTML document that you're going to style. And there are other words that you should know in CSS, such as property and value, but we'll get more into that later when we look at some real code. But here's a small example of code. P color red. In this little code right there, the CSS code P color red is used to set the text color of all paragraph elements in an HTML document to red. So this code makes every paragraph text color red, and we'll see examples of that, of course, in later videos. So like I said, there's three types of CSS and selectors in CSS. So basic selectors can be like element, class, and ID. So when you select the element, such as earlier when we selected P, it makes it that P is just for, we selected the paragraph, so all paragraphs have whatever style you add to it. So in the previous case, we made it red, the text color red, but we could have done literally anything to it. We could have added a border to it, we could have added some padding or margins or color or changed the color, whatever, many things. And class selector, so basically if you have a little class in your document, you can just select that class and add CSS styling to it, and really like I said, just make it different colors or whatever. And ID selector, same thing. You select an ID, and that ID, you can change it however you want with styling. CSS properties example. One example can be like the font. You can just change, and if you look at the example code, so what this code does is it changes the font to Arial, it makes the font size 14 pixels, and it makes the color blue, and it puts the text right in the center of whatever it is, whether it's a paragraph or whatever. So CSS box model, you're going to hear about these three words a lot, which is padding, border, and margin. So padding is the space between the content and the border. So if you imagine you have a little box. Inside that box there's a paragraph. Inner distance between the paragraph and the little border that it has is called padding. Border is just the border, and margin is padding but reverse. So it's like margin is like how close that little border and box can be to other elements, and we'll see examples of that in the future, but I'm just trying to give you guys a little introduction to the whole CSS programming language, nothing really in depth. So to add CSS to HTML, like I said, first you can do inline or embedded, but if you're going to do external, then you have to link the relation, which is style sheet because it's CSS, and then href is basically referencing the style sheet, and in this example the style sheet is called styles.css. So in that little part right there you would add whatever your CSS document is called. So if it's called 123.css, then that's what you put there. So in conclusion, styling, also known as CSS, is crucial in web programming. It really helps make the whole web page pop, and it makes your website look so much more professional, so much better looking, makes people more interested in it. If you're selling something or showing something and you want people's attention, CSS is crucial. HTML just helps with the foundation, but CSS is what makes it pop, it makes it glow, it makes it stand out. So again, you need to know HTML before diving into CSS. If you don't know HTML, I do have a course uploaded. I uploaded it recently, a few months back actually. So if you want, you can get into that. And in that course actually helps you know in the beginning how to download Visual Studio Code, which you're going to need in order to really use CSS and HTML and many other programming languages, but in this course we're just going to be using mainly HTML and CSS. So thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, please comment down below, and I'll try to reply to everyone as soon as possible. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more computer science and programming content.